be a little bit different this car talk. As often as as often as I'm going to sit here and say just how crazily I'm going to demolish my chest and how gnarly of a stretch I'm going to get on my flies, I do get enough comments about the like all the camera shit and the tripods that I think it's worth referencing. Plus, I just like fucking talking about it. I've said this a few times. Now I'm like a total camera nerd because there's sort of a point of what's the word I'm trying to think of here? Well, maybe depth. Once you really get into something, where you kind of start to try to improve the quality and your actual effort and kind of time and almost sort of investment. Like the first year and a half that I was posting all these like videos and like TikToks and shit, they were all they were all just from my phone. Like there was no fancy anything else. So let me turn this shit down just a touch. But yeah, so if that's what you're interested in, and you want to try to make use of the social media monster which we have now kind of created. I mean, everybody's scrolling social media pretty much, would you say more or less than the majority of their free time? It's actually kind of a freaky thing to think about. But either way, there's something to be gained there, Plus, it's just a cool feeling in general if you make like a cool like TikTok and you play it to like some yeet, you add some After Effects and some transitions. You're talking about a chest pump and you say some kind of goofy caption. Dude, the first time you get like 5,000 views on a TikTok, that makes you feel kind of fucking cool. But if you take it even further, I mean, all these sort of all these social media apps and everything else, they've all got potential for revenue. So if you're already like a diehard lifter, if you can get enough fucking views on something, you can make a couple of bucks without really doing anything too extra. The tricky part is it kind of takes a while to get there. I mean, there's no turnaround per se for kind of a while, right? I mean, when I was first making all the like the ego lifter kind of TikTok jokes, that was just for the fun of it, right? And kind of building the just getting the views and stuff. But if that's what you're interested in, that's kind of what you want to start doing. But you're like, well, I don't know. Should I get the FX6 or should I get the Black Magic 6K? Or, I mean, anytime somebody goes down the rabbit hole of like, okay, but like, what's the best sensor size or whatever? It's it's very easy to see the top line of every fucking camera equipment available. But don't forget, what do you have on the back of your phone that you're watching this video on right now? You got a 4K fucking camera. Everybody is walking around with a pretty reasonable fucking video setup in their pocket at all times. So if that's what you're interested in, there's really only one thing that you would potentially need to start making, well, any kind of video. It doesn't have to be working out, it could be whatever. If you're if you're a serious like Warhammer, oh crap, what's the number after? Warhammer 42? That doesn't sound, either way, if you're like real deep into like painting miniatures, or if you love or if you're like a woodworker, if you've got some forging experience and you're like a blacksmith kind of guy. One of my friend's brother does some of that. He's like he's got all sorts of little, just like for fun. But the first thing that I'd recommend, dude, just buy a fucking tripod. Amazon, $15, slap your phone right on top of it. The thing can extend to 6 feet tall. It's like nothing. And even if you're not interested in posting anything, a tripod is fucking insanely valuable in terms of recording your progression. I was kind of a tripod hater for the first like 3 years of lifting, because I'm like, in my mind I'm like, oh dude, look at these fucking guys, they're just working out for the video. It's like, it's like fucking chumps. It's like they're not even really going hard like I am. Like that was kind of my like social media imagination. So completely different than now. But I mean, I still kind of keep the same sentiment. I mean, lifting like fitness shit purely for like, what I'm talking about. But either way, I do wish that I had like a phone tripod from the beginning onward, because I would love to have gone back and watched like, some sets of me doing 185 for 10 on flat bench, and like that was failure, or Not that I needed to, but I would try to do 1 rep max. Like the first time I ever benched 205, dude, I would fucking kill to have all those clips on my phone. But alas, didn't get into it until later. So, a little side note, even if you're just lifting on your own, you got no need to show anybody, which I think is a much healthier kind of mentality about it. A tripod is fucking valuable, right? All your posing, or like if you ever want to like do little check-ins, get a tripod. $15, absolutely, probably cheaper, honestly, but that's a solid move. But when it comes to actually recording stuff, like I'm not joking, your phone is fine. Like it's pretty solid. The only issue is, you might think it's a little. It's like, oh well, if I really want to get into it, I should buy all this stuff, because if I buy a bunch of stuff, then that'll make me more serious, and that'll. It's like that's kind of a double-edged fucking sword, man. Because you want to feel the water first. I mean, if I posted all these like TikToks and shit for the first year, and then eventually I was like, maybe I don't need to do this, but I had immediately bought like a crazy amount of fucking camera shit. That'd be kind of a scrappy investment, So that's where I think feeling the water with your phone first, and then if you can say for sure, it's like, okay, I want to really get into this. I think I got something going here. All right, let's go to the Best Buy website, see what kind of shit Sony has. Right? Personally, I'm kind of a Sony fan, but that's only because that's all I've really used. There's like the big three. It's like Sony, Canon. I'm seeing a lot of Fuji stuff sometimes, but that's Nikon. Yeah, no, those are the real big three. Fuji's kind of coming up, but it's like Sony, Canon, and Nikon. That's and once you get into this, it's like you're in the Matrix. When I was before I started recording all this stuff, I would if you just look at sports or like at the Olympics and shit, when all the camera guys are walking around carrying everything, you don't even think twice. You're just like, oh, he's just carrying a camera. Oh, that was a big one. That's a big lens. But now it's like, oh shit, yep. Holy crap, he's got the 600 millimeter 2.8. That's freaking wild, or just random shit like that. But what I would personally recommend, if you're thinking about making the jump from phone to camera, I think highest value wise, there are some pretty serious fucking contenders, because you don't have to spend a fucking like you can spend thousands. Like I've got like a crazy amount of I got a couple different camera bodies and like all sorts of lenses and everything. But in terms of like best value, I would say ZV-E10 Mark II. Right, that's APS-C size. It's got a little bit of a smaller sensor, but the lenses that you can buy for a camera like that, they can be much smaller. Like if you've ever seen a camera where the guy takes the lens off, you see this like big ass little like digital screen looking thing, like that's the sensor. So the smaller APS-C version doesn't need so much glass. So what that means is all the camera lenses that are made for it don't have to be so massive, because it only has to condense the light to this smaller sensor. But if you wanted to grab the a ZV-E10 Mark II, even just a used, like refurbished, save an extra $100 because they test it and make sure it's fine. Like that's really just a free like 20% off or 10% off. And then one of the Tamron or potentially Sigma zoom lenses. Like if you looked at me and you said, Sam, I just got us the ZV-10 Mark II and the Tamron 1770. What do you think? I'd say this guy knows what he's fucking talking about. Because one of my I got a couple of friends where they're interested in that sort of stuff too, and I'm telling them, it's like you're not going to get double the value if you pay double the price. It's like with anything, diminishing returns are not correlated with price. So if you spent even if you just spent like $500 on one of the all-in-one kind of cameras, if you spent $1,000 on something a little bit nicer, that's not twice as good. And if you spend $2,000, that is definitely not 4 times as good. And kind of up and down like that. But no, if you're looking at that sort of stuff now, I would say ZV-E10 Mark II, don't forget it, and one of the Tamron zooms, 2.8 1770. You would not fucking regret it. And then over time, if the things that you're starting to do starts to kind of take off, make little upgrades from there. But that's my little shtick there for anybody looking into videography. And that doesn't have to be lifting alone. That could be fucking anything. You know, that could be if you're trying to record some golf videos for, you know, your sort of a little bit more golf-centric YouTube channel, like Little Bro Mark, or I don't know, what else do people fucking record? Yeah. I was about to say, oh, if you're about to start an OnlyFans, people would pay for the quality. But that's enough camera yapping. Let's just get straight to chest. I'm going to start with some kind of heavy press and then go from there. Might just be 2 movements. The last few chest days have been just some heavy pressing and then some squeezing fly-based movements at the end. I mean, it's a pretty fucking tried and true combination. So we'll see if I break away from that pattern or if I stick to what works. But either way, let's get started. It'll probably get hard around 15, I think. Maybe less. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll tell you when. Pull a little. Yeah, that's good. Whoa. Thank you. Yep. One more. Same shit. Same shit here. That's enough. One more. Yeah, pull that shit. Yeah, that's enough. Oh, thank you. All right, I think my head's out of the shot, but once I bend over, it'll make more sense. These are going to be kind of some wide, bent over, kind of not half fly, half press. I'd say it might be more accurate to say like 70% fly, 30% press. Because at the top, it is going to feel pretty pressing-like, but the stretch is not the same as like forced straight back at me. But either way, just changing up the angles. This will be a good one. Moderate weight. Let's make a drop set. Come on. So typically, I'm not the most massive fan of single-sided stuff for chest. Like for any heavy pressing, I would say you're better off probably doing both arms at once. Like triceps is a little different, hamstrings, quads, and maybe this is just personal preference, but you're not going to catch me doing a heavy single-sided chest press, 10 reps and then switch to the other side. But with something light squeezing like what I'm about to do here, I'm okay with it. So 5 on the right, 5 on the left, back and forth until I'm pretty much as burned out as I can get. And this is 27 pounds on stack. This is not insane. But what I'm really just trying to do is build up fatigue. Plus with a big stretch in the back. 5 here, switch, switch. And then I think one more double arm set of something like flies will completely thrash and get me fully pumped up. So this falls under the category of a burning kind of squeezing set. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the wide cables. I think this is going to be a superset of regular pec deck into decline light squeezing cable flies. But I got to find out. Because if I feel like I'm totally done after this set, I can call it, go check the pump. But if I think I can squeeze a couple more fucking, what would you call a pump unit? If I can squeeze a bit more blood into my chest on the wide cables, then obviously that's what I'll do. But let's just get amped up and make it happen. In either case. Yeah. Fuck. Forgot to move this handle. There we go. Okay. Let's go get the fucking pump check going. All right, so chest is now complete. Still fucking burning. I am excited to see how it fucking looks. So I was just talking to some of the characters up there, and they said, Sam, why aren't you going above 315? Dude, I'm not convinced there's more gains above 315. Like,
Attention all Delaware YMCA members and guests, the time is 9:05. The Y will be closing in 25 minutes. Thank you.
25 minutes, guys, come on. But, you know, it's like, I don't think there's more size. And that's something I only can, like, say now, having lifted a little more than that, because it's like, it's really not going to give me a better pump. It's really just more fucking risk. Now, you know, I'm not like the safest lifter of all time, of course, but if I know, okay, if I bench like this with this weight, my likelihood of tweakage will now go from baseline to here. Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't fucking do that, right? But that's easier said than done. With a lot of things, when it comes to like making improvements to your training and understanding, like maybe you don't need to find out what your 1 rep max is on the hammer strength chest press. That's not going to do you much good. It takes some time to learn, you know. So every time I see a youngster, and by youngster I just mean early on lifter, fucking slam the weight with a squat that was too heavy for him, or well, I don't know, just get into any sort of tomfoolery, which is not productive to gains in any real fucking manner, then that makes me say, come on, guys. You being serious here? But let's see how chest fucking looks pumped up. Oh, holy fucking crap, man. I mean, even just standing here and doing like a front relaxed, dude, this bulk is going pretty fucking well, I would say. Not even halfway done either. And I see a pretty substantial amount of fucking, well, I'm pumped. So it doesn't really count. It's hard to really gauge your gains purely by looking at yourself pumped up. Looking at yourself in the morning unpumped, that's your real kind of measurement of progress. But in either case, that doesn't take away from how fucking freaky this looks. I mean, this is a real, this is probably my most muscular ever. Jesus. Let me, I gotta pull my fucking hair out of the way. It's getting in the way of my traps. Holy shit. I gotta, let me get real in the center and do one more of those. That is nuts. Fucking perfect. Now that's the most meatballish pose there is. There's a certain elegance to like a side chest or like a lat spread. The most muscular is just like, it's just pure praise to aspiring to become a muscle monolith. But let's run through a couple more. Enjoy this chest pump while it lasts, and then go back home and start grubbing. Oh, dude. Vacuums after a fucking chest day, plus having eaten a ton of food already, those are gonna get you. Those are gonna freaking get you. But strong, pumped, fatigued, burning just a little bit as well. Those are all words that I want to be able to describe myself after a solid lift, as well as not fucking hurt. So, fucking checked all the boxes. Let's get out of here. There we go. And with that, chest is complete. I need to get some food in my system. Chest was fucking followed by a gosh dang 40-minute chat session. Very nice. Very nice end to a solid lift. Honestly, there's a certain value that people just won't understand until they're with some folks. They just finished a solid ass lift and then having little gym bro talking at the end. There goes a little orange cat scurry across the road. Let's just hope he doesn't have any bad luck. We'll just say that. But getting back to the camera shit. Don't freak out though, because you gotta remember, just because you're recording like a stupid TikTok shop, weightlifting straps review video, that's not going to do twice as good just because now it's in 4K Ultra HD instead of on your phone. So I really think, man, like there's the fitness side of things with like videos and stuff, like we're kind of, like all the actual working out and everything. But then there's also like the shorts style, like the TikTok, the Instagram Reels and stuff. Oof, man, if you've got some jokes in mind, if you're lifting some reasonably impressive weights or anything else, I think right now is a pretty solid time to actually pick up a little bit of traction. I was just talking to those guys about it. It's like freaking 9 out of 10 fitness related posts that I see on Instagram on anywhere. They're not even like you don't have to be big, like crazy big advanced to make like a funny kind of solid lifting post, but 9 out of 10 of them are always just like, man, this is the best creatine gummy I've ever used. Here's the link. So that's my last little tip social media wise before we talk about some of the food is, if you see 1,000 videos of the exact same style, if you post the same shit, it's not going to do any better magically. So try to change this shit up, right? Say something funny, say something new, say something whatever. Just change it up. That's my little wish. Because I want to watch some fucking funny little shorts and shit, and not just see so many like just hive mind ads, pushing the same just water jug or whatever. It's just a little bit fucking much. But food wise, I am freaking hungry. I think I'm gonna go home, have 2 packs of cheese, cheddar broccoli rice, half pound of ground beef, as well as actually I don't know, I need to make a little grocery trip. I don't have any treats anymore. I ran out of ice cream sandwiches and I'm not really feeling a Ben and Jerry's at the moment. But 120-ish grams of carbs, 50 grams of protein, 30-ish of fat, actually maybe more like 35 because the rice packs have about 14 each, and then I can go from there. It's that's really the fucking deal here. In terms of me continuing to grow and continuing to get bigger on this bulk, I have 2 objectives. Well, actually I have a few objectives. Get my meals in. That's honestly kind of the most important one, because without that I will not grow. But very closely tied with that one is make sure that the training is on point, right? Now, that's a little bit strange to say, because it's like, well, Sam, shouldn't the training be on point always? It's like, yes, but if bulking up and gaining weight is the goal, the training does not supersede the dieting. Like, they kind of just go hand in hand, because you could train as perfectly as you want, but if you're only eating 2,000 calories a day, you're never going to grow. You're just going to end up staying the same weight that you are. Now, you could be a pretty lean, like muscular build, and if that's your end goal, that's sick. But if you want to actually gain weight, there's no way to out-train lack of raw calories. So that's why I'm putting the training and the calories kind of both on the same level of importance. Because if I keep training hard like I'm doing, but I don't eat enough food to continue to grow, then I'm just maintaining where I'm at. And that's not what I want to do. I do not want to maintain right now. I want to progress. I want to keep getting bigger. I want to break new territory in terms of me and my scale, so that I can see some brand new numbers and say, holy shit, we're getting fucking bigger. So that's why you can't, I mean, the dieting and the training are right there on the same level of importance. Now, secondary to that, and still very important, like these are not like one or the other, but kind of just repeating for the beginning. Get my meals down, keep gaining weight, keep training hard, and then continue to train smarter. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean when I say I want to train smarter? Well, for one, probably most importantly, I want to train in a way that I do not get hurt. I want to train in a way that I do not pull anything or tweak anything or freaking, knock on wood, rip anything or feel like a pop. Like, that's completely foolish. And I look back at my training history with a little bit of like with a little bit of well, yeah, I'd say remorse is a good word, but maybe not so like serious as that. But it's like, man, I probably didn't need to do hamstring curls so heavy that I pulled my hamstring, or I didn't need to do that like really crazy set of bench with a very wide and poor elbow form and like totally crease my rotator cuff, so I had like a crunchy shoulder for the next 3 months. Little things like that. But if you went back in time and you erased all your mistakes, then you wouldn't be who you are now. So it's more of it's like a live and learn situation, right? This is a really good way to put it that I like. You're not going to know how hot the stove is until you burn yourself. So if you're lucky enough to be somebody who does not have any major incidents or major tweaks, or like, both your knees are nice, you don't have to worry about pressing in a certain way because you think you're going to pop your shoulder out or anything, that is incredibly valuable. Try not to mess that up just because you wanted to like do an extra crazy heavy set, for no reason. So apart from that, and similar level of importance, I want to make sure that my training is continually more stimulative, right? I'm trying to change things up in such a way that I'll get better results than I have before. So triceps, I think, is the primary example of that right now, because I think my triceps are picking up at a more noticeable rate than normal. And I think that's to do with changing up some of the some of the approach with the training and the style, and really prioritizing different kinds of like real deep stretch, solid burn kind of hold, be a little bit more like methodical with the reps, and it's working. I'm seeing some tricep gains. So similar to triceps, I want to see that everywhere. I want to see better gains in my chest, my arms, my legs. Shoulders are okay for now. Back, everything I want to be growing. So since the training is the primary like stimulator of that, then I want to improve the training side too. I mean, it would just make sense. The longer you work out, the smarter you should be about it, and the more, stimulative is a really good fucking word, your training should be. So if something's working, keep at it. Badass, it's fucking working. But if it's not, if you're not making any strength gains, start to lose their importance over time. But if you're like a 180 pounder, strength gains are an awesome indicator of legitimate muscular gains, because I'd say up to about 200 pounds, like a 10-12% body fat, 200 pounds of like regular height, your strength and size are going to be pretty correlated, right? 180 pounder is going to be pretty much, I don't know how many percent stronger than a 160 pounder, just because he's got physically more muscle mass to recruit for his lifts. Now, once you reach past that, it starts to get a little bit less important. Like, you're never going to see me try to do a set of like 450 pounds on incline bench. That's not going to do me any better, because like the strength doesn't correlate beyond that, right? Those two functions kind of diverge. But as long as what you're doing is working, keep doing it. Keep making sure everything's on track. Get your calories in. Actually go to sleep on a reasonable hour. Don't get blackout drunk on the regular. Any college characters or older high school characters, this is very important, because let's just say this: I have never seen anybody who was constantly like doing bar runs when I was in school make legitimate gains. Now, whatever, they probably didn't really want to make the gains in the first place, but if you do, then it's going to be beneficial for you gains wise to maybe separate yourself from anybody that wants to draw you into there. Because I mean, I can say this with certainty: if gains mean anything to you, if like your physical kind of gains and use of your youth is fucking important to you, you're gonna regret it in the future if you kind of squander it. And any of my older viewers are probably gonna fucking agree with that. Whereas, any of my 18 to 25 year old demographic may be a little bit less inclined to agree. They might say like, Sam, who cares if you have a couple, man? It's like, I'm not gonna. That's an answer, or that's a question for you to answer for yourself. But it really is a complete agonist from gains. So, do with that information what you will. I'm not your dad. But the more things you can get on track, the better. Now, of course, that's in a fucking gains context. Maybe you just want to be kind of the casual lifter. I don't really want to worry about my diet. I just want to stay baseline kind of in shape and, get a little bit stronger. Then that's cool. That's its own thing. But what I hate to see is like when somebody actually like when somebody wants it, but they're not willing to really put the work into it, then that really sucks for me to see, because it's just a complete perfect setup for regret in the future. The last thing that I want to do is look back at, now of course this is from this point onward. I can't change anything about how I've lived, these fucking 22 years up to now. But I don't want to do anything where I'm going to have to say later, oh, fuck, I wish I could have done that back then. Man, why wasn't I doing that? I was just, like, that's just that's like a nightmare in a way. Not that I'm like I'm not going to wake up and think, oh, crap, I got to go do my cardio right now. Like, that's not kind of what I'm thinking there. But you really do have a crazy amount of, like, I guess value is a pretty reasonable word for it, but you got a crazy amount of fucking time on your hands. So if you can just spend a little bit of it, I'm not talking my whole day, I just mean a portion of it, doing something which you're going to enjoy the fact that you did it later on, it's going to pay dividends, I swear. But, if you're not into it, then, whatever. You can lead a lifter. You can lead a lifter to a badass Goku hyped up Tom Platz, Dorian Yates edit, but you can't make them get hyped up by it, and you can't make them lock in. It's that's up to them. So that's where I can have a little bit of I can sort of say with a little bit of grace, it's like, okay, not everybody's going to lock it in. Not everybody's going to really do what it takes to reach whatever goals they may want. And of course, if I'm talking about it, we're talking like working out, but it could be anything, right? A lot of the working out kind of hype motivation, dude, it applies to any kind of endeavor you want to do. Because if you really boil anything down, it's all just like time and effort in preparation and then performance. So if that time and effort and preparation part in the beginning isn't there, then guess what? The performance is going to reflect that. But I can say, and it kind of gives me a little bit of satisfaction, like, well, not everybody's going to do it, but the guys who really want it will. Get the guys who really want to lock it in, who really want to make it happen, not for anybody's approval, but because they want to and they know they're going to enjoy the fact that they were able to do it. They're on their game already. So it's never too late to try to get after it. But not to contradict myself, in a very real sense, it kind of is. So that's where I don't want to catch myself like that. I would have, and maybe it's just me and kind of how I'm wired or anything else, but if this is my thing and I like doing it and I know that I got some serious potential for moving forward in it over the next while, then I want to lock into it 100%, try to leave nothing on the table. Because if I do, then that's just another chance for me in the future to say, oh man, I wish I could have done. I wish I could have. Oh, it's giving me fucking chills. So that's my thought process there. Right? It's about to be New Year's. We're gonna see the fitness, the whole fitness realm spike. Right? Christmas and New Year's it's a very big boost. Gyms are gonna be packed. Freaking protein and pre-workout's gonna be flying off the shelves of every GNC and everything else, because I'm gonna make it happen this year. I'm gonna do it, dude. working out 5 times a week, getting back in shape. Dude, I want to be able to run a mile again, just like I did in school. All right, let's make this shit happen. And it's, we've all seen it. Anybody who's been to the gym on a consistent basis, they see it. That's the fucking, well, I guess in a way you could call it the good times, right? That's where all the, that's where the prey percentage, the prey population has a massive boost, right? Gyms are going to be full. Everybody's in there. Everybody's working pretty hard. You know, it's only day one. That's the easiest. Any, any situation like that, that's where it flourishes. But and not to make this sound kind of weird, but the prey population increases. You know, you got a fucking million rabbits running around the field. Guess what? The foxes are going to fucking flourish as well. And in this case, that's demotivation. You know, that's people saying, "Ah, man, fucking, I'm sore. Screw it. I don't even know what I was thinking. I'm freaking canceling my membership." 4 months comes around. You know, March, April. Guess what? Back to the normal population. But there was a few people who stayed and will now continue on the path of being fucking, getting their daily 60 minutes of, what do they call it? Well, either way, their daily lifts, or near daily-ish. They're gonna stay for it. And then once you're into it, you're kind of there. You know, you're not going to fall out of it once you really get yourself into it. Now, I guess that's up to you to see for yourself. But if you're watching this video, odds are you've been working out for a while, right? You're into the thick of it. You know, you're locked in. Your heels are dug into the ground. You're just going to stay for a while. Then you're going to see what I'm talking about. And it, you're not so perceptive to it in the first few years. Like year 1, year 2, when I was working out, I didn't really notice these kind of patterns of things so much. I'm like, I'm focused on my own shit, and I'm half nervous about like, okay, am I doing this curl right? Is anybody watching me? You know, like little shit like that. But the guys who have been around the longest, they've accumulated the most lifts. They get the most experience. You know what I'm talking about. You're gonna see it. So, if anything, for those of us who are actually on their game year round, enjoy this time. Enjoy this time, because honestly, I feel like right now gyms are the most empty that they're going to be. Summer is now coming to an end. Everybody's now walking around fully clothed. There's no longer any beach trips or fucking lake days or anything else like that. People don't want to fucking work out. I mean, I see it. I'll go to the gym and it's completely dead, which is just more opportunity for me to say, all right, let's do a couple of extra supersets since there's nobody in here. So that's the end of my shtick there. Now I'm just kind of now I'm rambling near nonsense, just lifting jargon. But let's get some food down, have a good night's rest, and then tomorrow is going to be a nasty back day. So I'll see you then.